Usually, we try to do coop cleanup once a week, normally on Saturday or Sunday. However, when we've been out of town, you can see that the coop piles up a little bit more. So it was extra dirty when I was cleaning it this time around. What I like to do is take a rake and gather up all the old straw, feathers, and dirt from the base of the coop, as well as in their little dust bath areas. These are just small areas where hens like to get in there and dust around, shake their feathers, which helps protect them from mites and other types of tiny insects. So, as you can see, the rake works great. It's just a small plastic rake. So then I like to take the snow shovel, not very fancy equipment here, but the snow shovel does great at being able to collect large loads of junk. Up in this top area, this is underneath their perches, so that's where a lot of the poop is. And so I like to go ahead and take the shovel, scrape off all of the nasty poop and old straw, and just get it in one place so that I can shovel it to the compost pile. When I can use the small rake to help load up stuff onto the snow shovel, it makes things easier for transporting it to the bucket that I have that I can then load up and take to the compost. Whenever I do coop cleanup, I always make sure I'm wearing a mask and gloves. This is just to help to prevent any spreads of infection. Sometimes breathing in the air, in coops with chicken poop can give you some sicknesses and like histoplasmosis or different things similar to that. So we just try to be safe and make sure we're wearing a mask and gloves and just take care of ourselves while doing the dirty work. As it is approaching closer time to molt, when the hens will lose some of their feathers to regain new feathers, you can see that there's quite a few feathers that have been shed off, and that tells me that they're getting close to molt. Once I have a lot of the nastiness out of the coop, I go ahead and put it in a bucket and then haul the bucket to the compost. I also use a wagon, just a green garden wagon with a tarp inside of it, and then I'm able to load up the old yuckiness in the coop into that tarp and then transport the wagon to the compost. This makes it easy. Even though we've got the Ranger to be able to use to haul stuff, I find that it's faster sometimes and easier just to haul it in this little wagon because it's closer to the ground. This is when I found a rat nest. So we had this old blanket where Bonnie, our piggy, used to sleep in this front coop. She thinks she's a chicken sometimes. And so before we made her her own area, she would come in and sleep in this nook next to the chickens. Well, during cleanup today, I found this nasty rat's nest made out of chicken feathers. Gross. And there's a nasty, creepy, crawly bug also. Yuck. Farm work means dirty work. But anyway, I was able to get this all out of there and make it nice and clean. And since Bonnie's not staying in this coop anymore, we don't have to worry about nests being in the blankets anymore. So I made sure to discard of that. If a rat was going to jump out of that, y'all would probably see me freak out on this video. So anyway, next thing I like to do when I'm doing coop cleanup is just take down any old nasty stuff or old things. This was from winter. We'll put some new covers up on the sides of the coop coming up as it gets colder, but this was from last year, so I just go ahead and take that off. We don't need it. I also am checking for integrity of the coop to make sure that it's predator proof so nothing comes and gets our hens. This is the area they jump up into in order to get into their nest boxes, and so there's some nasty finds there that need cleaned up, so I always try to make that nice and tidy. And they'll mess it back up again, but for now it'll be nice and ready for them. Also check the nest boxes and make sure there's enough fines in there. And sometimes a chicken that doesn't have a whole lot of sense will come along and roost above the nest box. We try to avoid this because it makes poop come in the nest box, like this one. So I'm going to clean this one out really well and then fill it full of nice fines. If the fines are not soiled or dirty, I'll leave them in and they kind of compost themselves down, and then I just do a layer method and add more. But I find it helpful to clean out quite a bit of it, therefore you're reducing the amount of mites and other stuff that the hens can get. There's another one of their little dust spots that they made, that hole. So I'm just going to make sure to get all these fines out of the way so they're not on that hole and try to clean it up as best I can. That is one of our automatic hen feeders. I need to put some chicken wire on top so they don't get on top of it. As you can see, they pooped on some of it on the lid. That's a nice feeder because all they do is step on the green part of the bottom, and then it opens up the tray in the bottom and they can eat their feed that way. Now that that nest box is all clean, those three, I'm going to move on over to these three. As you can see, one of our girls are in there laying, so she's probably going to be aggravated when I get closer to her. But we'll take a look and see. Yep, there she goes. She's going to have a hissy fit now. She don't want to have nothing to do with me being near her nest box. So she's going cray-cray. Hens get pretty protective over their little nest box area, so she's having a slight meltdown, but she'll come back once I'm away from it, so we'll keep an eye out for her then. Right now I'm going to go ahead and put some more of these nice fresh fines in there, and these are just fines that we get from Tractor Supply or Bonnie's Barnyard, but these are great because they are absorbent and they make a very nice spot for the hens to lay their eggs. I find that when the nest boxes are really nice, that the eggs come out very clean, and that means a lot less work for me because then I don't have to wipe them off as much or clean them as much to put them out in our farm box to sell to our farm clients. Now I'm just putting some of that extra straw that I had left over in the back underneath the I'm putting some of the straw that is left underneath the roost so that it will collect the droppings, and then it's easier for me to scoop them up in the future. So I'm just taking these old blocks of those and spreading it out, making it real nice and easy for the next coop clean out. One last bit of mess, and then I'll be able to move on. Diatomaceous earth is basically super finely crushed up crustacean shells, and I love using this stuff all over the whole farm. It's great for gardens, it's great for the hen feed, it's great to put into the nest boxes. Basically what this does is it cuts up any little teeny mites or small type of critters that may try to get on the hens and under their feathers, and so I love putting it in there. I also like to spread it around the whole coop, and then I come in and I put just a drop of essential oil, not really inside of the nest box fines, but on the little piece of wood, right next to it. And right now I'm using lavender, but this is great because this just helps freshen up the coop, and plus the hens are stressed out when they're laying their eggs, so I'm just hopeful that this will make them feel a little more at ease when they're doing the hard work of laying eggs. And there's our hen friend. She came back, she's scoping it out, and we'll see if she'll get back in her nest box. But this diatomaceous earth is just a real fine dust. The important thing is don't ever breathe it in yourself. Whenever I'm using it, I always wear a mask too, because if you sniff it in or take a big whiff, it really does cut your lungs and burns your nose, so you don't want that. There's that hen, there she goes. Let's see what she does now and if she can get up in her nest box and calm down some. There she goes. Once she's in that nest box, she's a happy girl. Lastly, I go ahead and make sure and put a few drops of that essential oil all around in the coop just to help freshen it up a little bit and keep away flies. This is a little bit of poultry spray. This just helps keep flies away and freshens up the coop as well. Once ready, I go ahead and take that garden cart full of the nasty poop and straw and all that and haul it on over to our compost pile. We have one compost that's right next to the garden, which makes it super nice because each year when we plant, all we do is shift it around and sift and dig, and we have some great soil. In part because these hens do their best to give us their waste, which we don't, find any trouble using. And it makes a great fertilizer, so we don't have to buy fertilizer. You can see our garden is all fall right now, so we need to get in there and clean it up some more. But that's end of season and how it looks before winter time. So I'm just going to take this tarp, round it up, try not to spill a bunch of it, and get it on over into the compost pile. As usual, not a lot of things go to waste on the farm, so we like to make use of even the chicken poop. My hope is to be using those rain barrels as well pretty soon. Now it's time to go to the back coop. We have one coop up front and one coop in the back. This helps us transition when we have chicks and help them get integrated into the large flock. We made this bridge a while ago, and this is how we get over our creek to go to our back coop area. Once across the bridge, it's time to head on over to the electric poultry fence. This fence has been great because this has helped keep a lot of predators out, from coyotes to local dogs to foxes. And so it's got a nice gate that I open up and I can get my stuff on in there. Once into the larger coop, you can see it's a hot mess. There's the hens wondering what's going on. But this is the larger coop that y'all saw previously on one of our coop moving videos, pasture redesign and revamp videos. But anyway, all the hens are stirred up, and there's a turkey being nosy, coming to see what's going on. So basically the same method here. I'm going to go in, I'm going to use this snow shovel, and I'm going to try to round up all this nasty poop and any leftover stuff in there that they've messed with, like that little door that goes to another run. I'll repair that later. But this is a good way to, again, go ahead and scrounge up all this nasty poop. We have used the tarp method before, where we've placed a tarp underneath. It was kind of tricky to get underneath the roost to be able to get it out, and then sometimes it got so heavy I couldn't really pull it out on my own. We've also tried a plastic piece of just long strip under the roost to be able to catch the droppings, and then that board that's on the outside that's not red that you can see underneath the broom and the rake, we would take that off and then pull that strip of plastic out and just haul the poop off that way. We're always trying to find great ways to keep the coops clean. We've also done the layer method, where you just keep layering litter and then hay or straw, and then litter and put some more. So we're always trying to find out the best ways to keep things clean. There was Aaron's finger. That's exciting. But anyway, I like to clean out the cobwebs when I'm doing coop cleanup. You can see all that nasty dust flying around. That's why we wear masks. But I don't want to walk in here and walk through webs, so I'm always trying to keep those at bay. And so that's part of coop cleanup on a weekly basis. Hard to reach areas, I know. But again, last thing I like doing is walking through spider webs. So my goal in the future is to maybe try a layered tarp method, where it's not just one tarp down there but a couple tarps. Then you just take one off but one's left. Or we thought about doing kind of like a flooring on the bottom that's not wood, just some old tile or something that's not real slick for the hens, but will allow us to take a hose in there and just hose out all the poop. If you've got great ideas of how you clean your coops, or what you use to put on the bottom of your coops, let us know. We'd love to hear it. We're always up for new ideas. It's always a good time to stretch your back after hauling out all that poop. Sometimes I get stiff. Now it's time to go ahead and refresh these nest boxes and take out any eggs we've got there. Need to clean up those little poops too. But these are the reason why we want to keep these coops clean. and these nest boxes tidy so we can get some delicious clean eggs for ourselves and our farm family. Again, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing in this coop and place the diatomaceous earth all around. This will kill any little tiny critters that can get on chickens, like lice or mites or just nasty little things. And so again, I love to freshen up with this diatomaceous earth. A little more poultry spray and fly control, and then a little bit of essential oils all around the place just to freshen it up. These are some lucky hens. This little coop was one we had used for chicks at one point, but now we store some feed in it, and the hens like to come in there and dust, which is fine. They also come in and lay some eggs. So in this one, I'm just going to basically freshen up the nest boxes since some of them do come over here and lay. And I'll do the same method, clean out all the old yucky stuff and put in new fresh stuff. There's Bonnie girl coming to see what's going on. There's Biscuit. They love when I'm out there. They want to know what's going on and be part of all the action. And there's some chickens wondering, what are you doing in our nest box? There's never a dull moment on the farm with this audience. This is one of our little chicken covers or runs out in our area. I'm just putting extra diatomaceous earth in there. And then I'm going to try to help fix the tarp over top of it. This just provides some shade to our hens during the daytime from rain or, whatever. And they've got other coverage areas, but this is just one that they like to go in and dust in as well. So the diatomaceous earth is really helpful there. Looks like my rope is dry rotted, so I'm going to have to find some zip ties for this. I'll come back and do that later after coop cleanup. Hope y'all have enjoyed this video and all the animals. Thanks a bunch. Check us out more on Glory Be That's Me.